What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and today I'm joined by Chris Abacon.
What's going on, everybody?
And Daniel Acevedo.
Just want to let you guys know, I ate a piece of apple pie and have a nice sugar high, and I'm ready for all this.
Okay, so unfortunately, Shannon was unable to make it. He's just under the weather, so it's that time of the year. With that being said, please continue to tune in Monday and Tuesday our topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask CISSP. I don't have a lot of those for the fall season because a lot of people are taking a break, obviously because of the holidays. But I think I have one more coming up, so stay tuned for that. And then Fridays, everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. Definitely continue to tune in, like, share, subscribe, all those things I always forget to say up top. If you're listening to us on 99.1 FM, whether it be tune in or live on the radio, please leave us your feedback as well. And yeah, without further ado, I'll toss it to myself. Topic one, what we have is the iOS update, right? So there's a lot of beef with this one, or consternation coming from law enforcement. So iPhones now auto restart to block access to encrypted data after long idle times, right? So Apple's added a new security feature with the iOS 18.1 update released last month to ensure that iPhones automatically reboot after long idle periods to re-encrypt data and make it harder to extract. So not too long ago, the federal government actually came out and said, hey, you should probably reboot your phones daily, right? Because you don't want an APT to gain a foothold into your system, and then you have that exposure for a long period of time. The longer they're in there, the longer they're able to extract data from you and do nefarious things. So Apple did something about it, but everyone's not so happy about it. So I will toss it to Chris first. What are your thoughts?
I think this is in line with Apple's commitment to security, first of all. I think they do take the privacy, no matter what, of the individual or iPhones above all, which is kind of in their promise. It's really cool because it's really the opposite of what we're used to. Every other big tech company, in my opinion, is really out there to mine that data, right? Mine that data, which is basically the new oil, right? It's gold. But Apple has continued to show and lead the example for protection of people's privacy, people's data, things of that nature, right? Really, when it comes to this specific topic regarding the iPhone, a lot of people just don't turn off their devices, right? Especially Mac users. Windows, just for me as a Mac user, I don't think I've ever turned off my unless it tells me to restart my actual MacBook, right? I don't actually go and actively shut it down like I would a Windows computer at the end of the day, or for my work computer, which is a Microsoft Surface. I shut that baby down in the weekends. I don't want anybody to hit me up, right? That's how it is. At least maybe it's just something that we're used to doing. But with Apple, right, I think them having to add this additional feature makes a lot of sense, because I think the general populace does not shut off their iPhones, right? And this takes protection for data at rest another level, right? So I think it's a fantastic move from Apple's part. But again, with law enforcement, sorry, man, it's just the way the way it is. I think if law enforcement, they probably have to work with Apple to get something done to decrypt things on a case by case basis, or I'm not aware of the legal proceedings that are necessary for such things, but law enforcement can, they're just going to have to figure it out, and they probably will, right? They've got smart people that work for them. What's really cool about this is, for you guys that aren't aware, every time that you log in with Face ID or your PIN or whatever, it decrypts your data. It decrypts your phone so that you can use it, right? But that same key is being utilized for one session, right? Or it's encrypted in one method, in one session when you lock it. But restarting it resets that process to where it's got to get a new decryption key and cipher and all that fancy cryptography stuff. So I think it's pretty cool. right? I've got nothing but praises for it. For me, Apple is doing a good job of protecting my data. I'm going to continue being an Apple user just because, at least from the iPhone perspective, just because there's too much with Google, like the privacy issues with Google. Apple's the way to go. Not, and please sponsor us, Apple. Please, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, if you want to be a sponsor.
Yeah, that'd be nice, right? When it comes to mobile device protection, I'm all about Apple. So, Daniel, what are your thoughts?
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. The first thing on my notes is, Apple's always been really forward-thinking in implementing security measures and whatever security they can kind of include out of the box on their devices. It's always kind of baked in. They do a good job of architecting security within their processes, procedures, and hardware. And this is just another look at that. For all the privacy advocates in the world and tinfoil hat people that love to protect their own stuff, they must be gobbling this up. They must be super happy that this is a feature from an update. It's pretty cool, right? It's kind of using something that's already available within how it encrypts itself and then enabling it to even better the security of the device. I don't think I remember seeing something like this, in this kind of arena, whether it be from a Windows device or a computer. I'm pretty sure there's stuff out there, but I don't remember reading about it. So, hats off to Apple. I won't be throwing any smoke or shade at them. I'm a big Apple user, big Apple advocate. It's kind of funny, when I was younger, you're always like, no, I want to be an Android user because I want the availability of being able, essentially, most people would just want to jailbreak their stuff to like download apps or try to get things for free.
Yeah, I was the
I was
same
like, I'm
way.
not going to use
Yeah.
Apple. And then the second I had an like an iPhone in my hand, I was like, this is so easy to use. No wonder so many people gravitate towards this
Yep.
thing. And I was like, I kind of like put myself at a disservice for not buying this sooner. And I, went that way. I never looked back. I've had an iPhone ever since. I'm not big into like trying to get stuff for free or jailbreaking or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess if I want to play around with like malware on the phone or try to do those kind of things, then I'd probably get a Google or an Android cheap one on the side and then kind of go that route to play with it. But I'm very happy with my iPhone. The one thing I'm hoping that comes of this though is that you can do remote reboots. Like you have your work phones. Usually, IT or cyber department has software on there. Like if your phone gets stolen, they can automatically wipe or reboot your phones. I'm hoping with this feature also, if you can remote reboot and it puts it in that idle state, then that means your data cannot be accessed because it can't be decrypted, which would be a really cool feature as well. Something that's just even added on to having an iPhone. But what do you think, Ryan? You think Apple, as always, is forward thinking in these kind of things, or you think Google or they're going to
No,
follow suit in this way, or what are your thoughts?
yeah, they'll probably follow suit. Yeah, like I think Apple is the trendsetter in this regard. At the end of the day, I think all of the big companies want to make sure your stuff is secure and what have you, but they just are a little bit more lenient when it comes to the law enforcement side of the house. Apple has been notorious for saying no when it comes to aiding either local law enforcement or the feds. Like, hey, this suspect is deceased. Can you help us out? And Apple like, no,
Yeah.
sorry, we cannot do, right, because just it's the foot in the door. So as soon as you give them the foot in the door, then all of a sudden they have back doors and other things to your services. Not that I'm trying to hamper law enforcement, but it also works against the bad guys. So in this case, if someone were to lift your phone, steal your phone, things of that nature, and have access to those mobile forensic tools like Cellbrite, UFED, or something like that, as long as you rebooted your phone sometime before it was stolen, you should be good to go. And I guess for crooks, if there's a raid on the house as opposed to you running and hiding, you should also reset your phone before the feds get it or whomever. So those digital forensic tools still work though. So they can still get into your phone, but it's just a matter of have you rebooted recently? It makes it a little bit harder to extract that data when they make it a forensic image of your phone. If anything, if I were law enforcement, I would make sure I got the forensic guy or gal in sooner rather than later, because the idle time now, right? The clock is ticking. So as soon as we have the phone in our possession, the whole chain of custody and all that good stuff, you need to get it to a forensics person to try to get that image made. If if it can be done, right? I just don't know. I don't know how long that takes. I've never been on that side of the house. I'm not a forensics guy, but you learn about it when you're trying to complete your degree, and they teach you a little bit about
Yeah.
how digital forensics works, and chain of custody and all that good stuff, that legality behind it. So I think it's all cool. So hopefully this is a boon to non-criminals, right? To just regular users like ourselves, and then doesn't come up the works too bad for law enforcement. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds on that one. But kudos to Apple again, trendsetter, and this will probably move to your Android and whomever in the very near future. So definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. So again, Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask the CISSP as soon as they'll start rolling again. And then Fridays, everything else, so movies, books, games, all that good stuff. And leave us some feedback. We greatly appreciate it. Hit us up by all of the websites that go by our name. So that's either the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. You can find me personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on pretty much all the social media platforms. But I'm most active on LinkedIn. And where can they find you, Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Chris Abacon, last name spelled A. Bacon.
Find me
And
on
you,
LinkedIn under
Daniel?
my name, Daniel Acevedo.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.